Hi, welcome to my week 7 video diary for Shrink Yourself. On the whole, it's been a good week, but I've definitely had some challenges around food. I'd set myself up with the way I was eating. It's a diet of my own invention, if you like, really. And I think I got to a point now, sort of 7 weeks in, where I'm starting to miss certain foods and feeling deprived. Well, in order to feel a sort of full sense of control over emotional eating, I've decided to kind of reintegrate certain things back into my eating, thinking that maybe sort of 80% of the time being really sort of conscious and mindful of all my nutritional needs and making sure that every one of them is met, and being sort of healthy and active, etc., is good progress. And it's been interesting to, I haven't had a dessert for all that time up until, recently. And so, thinking about how it felt while I was eating it, I tried to stay really conscious and mindful, and not to disappear into a complete food fix. So I'm thinking now about why I did that. Was it an act of rebellion? How wise is it to do it? Is it a slippery slope? And then also, recovery, because I definitely feel as if I've got something to recover from. Maybe a sense of control. Maybe one or two mouthfuls of what I've missed was better than the whole dishful of dessert. And so I suppose I'm disappointed that I wasn't able to manage that in quite the way that I'd hoped. But again, it was in the context of celebration and social eating. So all those things play a part, especially if there's alcohol involved as well. So it's much harder to be mindful, I find. So I'm wondering how much of this is me making excuses, and how much can I learn about myself because of this. So I returned very timely. I returned to the hunger coach this week to look at bouncing back. Why I felt the need to eat the way I did and how it feels, and that kind of thing. And it was just brilliant, because it's most important, really. In the past, I think if I'd have had an episode, I would certainly have beat myself up about it, felt awful, full of self-doubt, lacking my ability to really continue, because obviously I've tried lots of diets over the years and they've all failed, so to speak. So it's really a reminder that actually I've got a new way of thinking about all of this, and not to apply the old diet mentality. So I'm rereading the book, as well as going through the programme. And I've also, revisiting the hunger coach as often as I need to over the next few days, and certainly have done over the last couple of days, because it's so valuable to have a new way of looking at things. And what I'm trying to do, I think, is to apply a bit of gentleness at the moment and self-compassion, because the choices I'm making have come about for a reason, and I can learn from that. I also know what to do in order to bounce back, and that does include not beating myself up, and to accept that there's room for flexibility in how the choices that I make, and that it doesn't necessarily signal a failure on my part, because I've eaten things that I've been so successfully avoiding and not even missing, thinking I'll never go back to eating that way because it isn't worth it, doesn't feel good, and that kind of thing. But life is as it is, and reality is as it is, and there are times when the choices we make are the best choices we can at that given moment. So really glad to have the hunger coach in particular to fall back on this week. And I'm going to be rereading several of the chapters from the book about rebellion and the safety layer and things like that. I highly recommend it if if anybody hasn't read the Shrink Yourself book. On the whole, though, I now have the tools to recognise when I'm having an emotional eating episode. I certainly can stop myself midpoint, and I also have the tools to bounce back. So these are I'll have for the rest of my life. So that's what I'm thinking. It's a marathon and not a race. So although I definitely have a sense of progress, maybe some of the frustrations I have about feeling like a failure is because I'm putting so much pressure on myself to lose a lot of weight within a short space of time. And actually, this is a whole new way of changing how I think and how I behave, and how I integrate all of those 10 healthy habits to tackle emotional eating. So I'm once again extremely grateful to be sharing this with you and to have this fantastic programme to fall back on. And I look forward to next week, where hopefully some new challenges, no doubt, because that's life, but that the bouncing back will have fully happened, because I think I'm probably only about 90% there, if I'm honest. Okay, thank you. Bye.